Welcome to a little what I read in a week mood reading vlog. I just got back from break and term starts tomorrow, so I just wanted to do a little mood reading, keep it light, keep it easy, because I have a bunch of like themed reading vlog ideas coming up. So I was like, let me just read what I want to read, kind of take some time. I feel like most people normally read a lot more during breaks, summer, winter, time off. I don't. I feel like I have so many plans, whether that's literally just like sitting with family in a room, like technically not doing anything. Like, I just feel like I don't have that much time to read during breaks. So I am very excited right now to read some books. I wouldn't say necessarily a lineup, but I have a good few books on my radar that I really want to read, starting with a book that I got for my birthday this year from one of my friends, which we've been talking about for years, and above that I've been wanting to read for years. And another book by this author is like required reading in, is it like high school or middle school or something, but yet I never had to read it. Like, everyone I know had to read it basically except for me, and I've just wanted to read this for so long, and I finally have like the time, energy, and physically have it, and that is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. I have wanted to read this book forever. Obviously The Kite Runner is required reading in the States often. My brother's read it, so many people I know have read it, and yeah, I am just very excited to read this. I have to say, come in.
Are you filming? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, come in.
I could hear.
Anyway, I will say I think exciting is possibly the wrong word for this, because it is about the story of women during the reign of the Taliban and just like all of the horrors that they endured. It is fiction, but it is very like realistic. I am very excited to read it. I've heard it's like deeply heartbreaking and a very difficult read, but I have just wanted to read it forever, and I want to be more educated on, I mean, women's plights in general, but like specifically like the horrors in a lot of places all over the world that like aren't really touched on or aren't really shown in the media as much, because it's not being done to like white people. So yeah, I feel like it'll be a very good and enlightening read, and I'm very excited. So that is the current one. I also have the audiobook of Just Kids by Patti Smith, which I wanted to read for years. That is nonfiction. It's about like Patti Smith's life, and I've heard nothing but incredible things, and so I have that audiobook. Might read that a bit. I'm not like in the biggest audiobook mood right now, but like, I don't know, getting back into the groove of things, like going to uni during my breaks, going to the gym. But for now, this is the main thing on my eye. Also, I will be using this bookmark that the partner of my friend that bought me this cute little cat bookmark, for my birthday, and so I was like, it's perfect to do together, and it's literally so cute. Like, yeah, so I'm gonna get to reading. Hey guys, it is honestly quite a few days later. I kind of feared this was gonna happen just because it's the first week back at uni. It is the first week of my last term of uni, which is like crazy. I do want to do my master's, but like of my whole bachelor's and all of that. Like, actually insane. So it's been a little bit hectic, and I have been reading, but it's all kind of been in hours where it's not very bright out because I'm in the UK, and I'm so sorry, but we get like 2 hours of actual sunlight during the day at this point in the year, which is deeply frustrating. But hey, I got to part 2, and I got to part 2 like a day or 2 ago, but I wanted to take a break so that I could talk to you guys about what's been going on so far. It's already been quite a heavy book. Let me see how many pages I'm in. I've read 103 pages so far. It has been quite thought-provoking so far. I've like tabbed 3 things. Let me see what I was thinking about. Basically, so far in the story, I'm only finished part 1, so I don't really think it's much of a spoiler, but so far she has gotten married off. She is 15 years old. There's already been quite a lot of things that have happened to her. She's an illegitimate child, so that already bears a lot of difficulties. The only illegitimate child of her father, and she has lived just alone with her mom for the past 15 years. And then some tragedies arise. She has now been married off to a man who is, I believe, in his like mid to late 40s, which sadly is not very uncommon of the time. Also not very uncommon beforehand in many parts of the world. I'm not just trying to say that like this part of the world is in any way like lacking or less civilized or anything. It is very much due to religious, political, patriarchal restraints that were put on people. This has happened all over the world. It is still happening all over the world, just in a lot more of a hush-hush, suppressed manner. But yeah, it's been honestly quite crazy to just like read that, especially from such a like first person perspective. Even though it is historical fiction is very much based on true things that have occurred, and it's just quite difficult to read. The first part that I tabbed was a little bit after she got married. She is forced to wear a burqa instead of a hijab, and she talks about how, to her surprise, she honestly feels very comforted in it because of all the things that have happened to her in her past. Just being able to be like kind of hidden from the world, have less eyes on her, scrutinizing her, knowing who she is. Obviously, it is a very oppressive garb for a lot of people, but it's very interesting to see it from that perspective. But also, she's very young. Like at this point, you know, so many people can take horrible things and use horrible things as like coping mechanisms. So it's just very interesting to like read that perspective. Literally just a few pages later, she kind of like flips it and is talking about how, I'm like trying to articulate this not horribly, which is honestly quite difficult, but she's just talking about how the fact that she's been forced to cover up, and how, you know, her husband and so many men look down upon men and families that allow, you know, their wives to wear hijabs or no hijabs at all, or, you know, be able to have any part of their body, hair, face, anything exposed to other men. And yet these same men that are thinking that it is so wrong to be able to see other like Muslim women's body parts are completely fine with like looking at magazines and film and all of these different like leering observations. But it's okay because, you know, it's either of a different race, of a different religion, and so it's just like not seen as a woman. That's not seen as somebody that has to be like protected from the eyes of other people. It's a very interesting like dichotomy, which obviously like exists everywhere, but just like anytime I like read things like this, it's just so much more like glaring, if you know what I mean. That is where I'm up to right now. Since that point, it has gotten like quite intense. Like it's been intense literally since page 1, but it has gotten quite a bit more intense and descriptive and just like really difficult to read, and I'm literally only on part 1. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading this, but in the past like day, literally just last night, I picked up a book on my Kobo just because I like having something to read on my Kobo at night, because, you know, I don't like having the light on going to bed, and I like having like a fun, just easy read at night. And also yesterday I literally binged the entirety of the new Netflix show which came out yesterday, Finding Her Edge, which is based on a book, and I've really enjoyed the show. Like, I thought it was really interesting. It's basically about this skater who's part of this like elite skating family. Like, her parents were Olympic gold medalists in like pair ice skating, and, you know, her sister's about to go to the Olympics and her younger sister also does it, and it's just this whole like crazy world of ice skating, and there's just like a fun little love triangle in it. And I normally hate love triangles, but I don't know, I thought it was fun. I thought it was done well. I like when in a love triangle you can tell where it's headed, but it's very like genuinely kind of back and forth, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just like the way that they portrayed it. And so I finished it last night and I was like, let me pick up the book, because also the show ended up on a cliffhanger, which basically means Netflix, we need season 2. Like, I need it to be, what is that called? Ugh, I can't, my brain's actually so like dead because I just got back from class. But if it doesn't get like returned for season 2, I'm actually screaming, yelling, throwing up, because that cliffhanger, it's not necessarily a cliffhanger, it's just like tension, and I want to know where it goes. And I really like the show. Like, I generally feel like I watch those shows but like low-key despise them. I actually really liked it, so I picked up the book because I was like, where does this go? And I noticed that there's just one book, so I guess we kind of wrap it all up in one book instead of in 2 seasons in the show, hopefully, fingers crossed, right? But I'm literally 30% through right now, and it's kind of a different storyline. Like, it's still like, you know, the ice skating world, love triangle, yada yada, but I feel like it's definitely a lot more YA, which is totally fine, and also a lot less tension so far, which I do think comes in a lot of YA. I think it's just kind of going to be like a quick thing at the end, but I'm still having fun. I literally read 30% last night, like within an hour, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think I'm gonna continue reading this right now and then have this as my before bed book. But let's get more into trauma. Part 2 is about a different girl, which I'm actually terrified to see how their stories converge, because this is truly horrible. It's also like 9 years later, and currently it's 1987, and the war between the Soviet Union and the US in Afghanistan over like communist rule is occurring. I literally feel sick. Like, I knew this was happening in the run-up of the last few pages, but like, like the amount of horrors that have occurred within the past 80 pages, honestly more like the past 30, it's I still have a page left before I finish part 2, but I'm literally, I don't even know. I don't even know. There are 2 more parts left. We're like almost halfway. By the way, I'm so sorry that we're in the dark right now, but like I had to, like, I have felt sick the past 30 pages, and it gets worse and worse, and it's thing after thing, and it's literally so terrifying to think of the millions upon millions of people in history that like these things have occurred to, that have had to live through war, death, the constant fear of dying, of family and friends and loved ones dying. It's I can't like comprehend this right now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go straight into part 3 because I like need to know what in the world is happening. Oh my god. I think that's the sweetest thing I've heard in my entire life. He said that you were his earliest memory. Holy. Guys. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, like, I did expect going into this book to be sobbing, but like I haven't really cried about like something fictional in a while. Oh my god. But it's like, it's not. I'm crying because it's literally not. Oh my god. I like genuinely don't understand how people can hear about these things occurring, read about them, see them with their own eyes, and like do that, commit that to other people, destroy. At first I didn't think you even existed. I thought it was the morphine talking. Maybe I even hoped you didn't exist. I've always dreaded bearing bad news. Dude. Like, I don't. I literally could not. I don't know. the way I'm like only halfway through this. Like I'm on 100, or no, I'm on 203 and there's like 400 and something pages in this book. This is not even the end of the chapter, that's just the bottom of the page. Okay, I'm gonna go. Update time. I am currently 63% through Finding Her Edge and on page 229 of A Thousand Splendid Suns. So I'm just like a bit over halfway. I feel like I will honestly get a good chunk of this done today. I was like so in it yesterday when I was reading. I was like, this is so good. But then it was like a few hours before bed and I was like, I'm gonna put this down just because like I think I just need something lighthearted. Like I easily could have binged the rest of this book, but I was like, I need a minute because it's a lot. So I was like, let me put that down. And then I was reading Finding Her Edge. I think I got from like 33% to 63%, so like a third. I have to say I'm liking it a lot less. Like the first bit I was like, okay, we're still getting into it, la la la. It is so different from the book. Like I'm not even sure who the actual love interest at the end is gonna be, and I kind of think it's not the person I want it to be and not the person that it seems like it will go towards in the show. If the show gets a second season, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really enjoying it. It's very YA, very lacking in like details. I feel like we don't really get a lot of them. She's just kind of like talking about ice skating and how that's so nerve-wracking, and I'm like, I might like finish it up over like the next 2 nights or something. But like yesterday I was like, oh okay, my pop socket just popped off. Yesterday I was like, yes, like I'll read it, like fun, get back into the world of the show, and now I'm like, I'm not enjoying it, but it's fine because I am really enjoying A Thousand Splendid Suns, and it is deeply keeping my interest, and I have quite a few tabs right now. I don't know if you can see anything because it's like a very it's literally like the same color as the page. Don't know if you can tell, but I'm really enjoying this, so I'm gonna keep reading this. I read this a bit this morning and I was just like, I just can't, I'm like just thinking about the show and I'm like, this is not. But even if I hadn't watched the show, I would never like have gotten past like 20 pages into this. Like I'm not enjoying it, but that's fine. Truly just getting so much worse and worse, and I don't know what to do. At least the Taliban are pure and incorruptible. At least they're decent Muslim boys. Voila, when they come, they will clean up this place. They'll bring peace and order. People won't get shot anymore going out for milk. No more rockets. Think of it. Hey guys, I finished A Thousand Splendid Suns last night, I only had the last like 60 pages I think to read yesterday, because the night before I was like, I'm not going to bed. Like, having finished this book, gut-wrenching, I'd probably be like sobbing on my bed, like not. I'm like, okay, you know what, right before bed maybe is not the time right now. So I put her away and I finished her up yesterday, and it was incredible. It was incredible. It is such a horrific and gut-wrenching story, but honestly it is told so beautifully, and you empathize so much with not only the women in this story, but women in wars all over the world, children, even other family members that have like technically done wrong, and you know, just want to repent. It's such a beautiful book about like war and grief and love and a mother's lasting love, and it's just it's incredible. Honestly, I would say out of like any book I've read, this is in like the top 2 contending spots for like, I feel like everybody needs to read this book. It's just, first of all, historical fiction I think in general is very important to read, to understand, because you know, history repeats itself. Knowing more about our history, because our education systems, at least mine, does not teach us a lot about the actual fallouts and intricacies of the horrors that occur to like so many people in not only wartime but slavery, and even technically under good times, just like human rights violations. But yeah, this book was absolutely incredible. I tabbed her up quite a lot. I cannot remember the last time I tabbed up a book, which is crazy. I used to tab a lot, but I feel like in the past year, 2 years, I've just been reading a bit less because uni has, you know, taken its way, and definitely a lot less like hard-hitting books, which are typically the ones that I like to tab just because there's a lot more like quotes and emotive things that I like to pull from. But this book was absolutely incredible, and I give it a 5-star. Literally 2 of the books I've read this year are already 5 stars, and it's January. I was really not expecting that. Okay, I wouldn't say like expecting, assuming, I don't know, but I did expect / assume for this to be quite highly rated. Honestly, a 5-star, but like obviously if it wasn't, it's still like such an incredible tale. But like to have 2 5 stars in the first month of the year is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's incredible. Definitely, if you're gonna read it, it's difficult to say. I mean, yeah, I would say definitely check trigger warnings, just because that is the premise of the entire book. If you're not really aware on the tragedies bestowed upon women in Afghanistan during not only the time of the Taliban, but the, what was it, like 30-year lead up. It's such a horrific period of time. I would definitely maybe like check trigger warnings possibly, but like still read it. It's just, I feel like it's very important to read things like this because they are uncomfortable, because they're difficult, because you don't want to face them. Anyway, then we have, this is not Finding Her Edge, this is a different book, but I DNF'd Finding Her Edge, and I think like 70%. Yeah, I read a little bit more yesterday after I talked to you guys, like possibly. I have no memory of reading it yesterday, but apparently I did. And then I was just like, I've read 70% of this book. I've gotten to the point where like, I know I'm not gonna enjoy this. I know, here's my issue with this book. It's not that it's too YA. That's fine. You know, like a YA book should be YA. And yes, I am no longer the intended audience for a YA, so like generally I'm not gonna enjoy them as much anymore. You know, I'm 21 years old. I am not a 16-year-old reading about 16-year-olds in love, la 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 la. My biggest issue with this book was the fact that I'm 70% in. I still don't know who the love interest is, and there's probably like, there's less than 100 pages left, right? I don't like the way that certain people are being treated. I don't like the vagueness around the story in general. I feel like there's just not enough conversations being had. There's not enough inner monologue being had about anything other than like figure skating. So I'm just kind of like, you know, yeah, I just did not enjoy it. I still really like the show. The show is so different. I would highly recommend it, but yeah, not finding your edge. But anyway, that is the end of my mood reading, read with me week moment. Whatever, you know what I mean. Interesting week. We have a 5-star and we have a DNF, so yeah, fun times. But anyway, I will see you guys next week for another reading vlog. Bye.